Mahalo, everybody. I'm back for a Sunday stream. Today will probably be a little chiller. I don't know if I'm gonna go for super duper long because I'm a little sicky. So probably just gonna mess around. I had like no time last week, so I have not gotten much farther on this drawing, so I'm just gonna, we're gonna suffer the coloring process together. Welcome in, Kari. How are you? Good to see you. Oh my god, I've got two different things going on. I got like genetic sickness happening, which is always fun, and then I have, ironically, another form of external genetic sickness, because this past week, my brother ended up having to be away, and so I got to do the ever fun trial run of being a parent, and so I took care of his kids, and believe it or not, kids that attend daycare manage to get every sickness. They absorb all of the illness in existence. And so I knew that the second that I was going to take care of the kids, I was like, I am going to get sick. And I've caught a little bit of a cold, but both to my success and my failure, my body is pretty good at beating external stuff, so all I really have right now in that sense is just a little bit of a sore throat that I hope gets less sore. But other issues are obnoxious, and I am dealing with them, so stream might be a little bit on the lower energy side. I also think all of my energy was zapped because once again I made such the greatest decision on my part to watch the new Mai Bashi episode, and I cried the whole way through. I cried the whole episode, so I'm like, emotionally recouping myself right now because that was a lot, and it was really rude. And then I've never seen a team do things in an episode that is just going to make me more upset. They're like, that was rude, that was mean, you knew that would hurt, like, that cost you extra time and energy to do the things you did just to make me feel sadder. Just to make me feel more sad, TM. And people are rude and mean. Oh man, I should have grabbed my water. I did not. I'll grab that in a little bit. We'll grab that when I get thirsty. Otherwise, in terms of games today, I have no idea how long this coloring process will take. And should it finish early, or if chat is particularly, like, bumping today, I wanted to play some of those, like, I have an addiction. So a lot of those, like, web one-time, like, one-a-day game thingies. And I really want to do, like, the Wordle and stuff, but, like, with the fun of having a team of chatters who can help me solve the things that I may not have the answers to. I thought that might be a little fun. Otherwise, we're kind of in, like, a holding spot for all of the magically girlness stuff that's been happening this week. Like, we had the big boom of the mid-seasons for Precure. My Bashi Witches is, like, ramping up to its finale, but we're not quite at the finale. And, oh my god, other things have been happening. Like, Miraculous announced that they are having their anime finally, which is, the image for it is posing more questions than it's necessarily getting answers for, so excited to see how that goes. We also got the song, we got the musical number for Winx Club. I don't remember the name of the group that does the new, like, I believe it's the intro for the upcoming Winx Club series as well as the transformation music. But that's there, that's cool, we love that. And I'm trying to think if there's a couple other things that dropped this week. I'm trying to remember what happened with Princess Session Orchestra. I may have to look it back up. I need to watch that show, man. I have not kept up with Princess Session Orchestra, and I feel like I'm getting bummed out because other people have really, other people have not super duper loved it, and I'm wondering, I'm like, ooh, is that gonna suck my love for it? Am I gonna not want to watch it? I feel like since it's a 50 episode series, maybe it's gonna take a little bit longer for the series to get interesting, maybe? Maybe it just needs more time to cook. Welcome in, Ben! How are you doing today? Welcome in, Love the Cartoonist! Is it me or is that? Yes, it's the panty and stocking one. Yes, 100%. Like, I am not claiming to own the style at all. It's very much based on panty and stocking because I've not really been somebody who's good at sitting in one style and being like, this is my forever style and stuff. Like, I gotta give it to artists who can do that. I'm too indecisive. It's the Gemini in me. I'm like, I like this style and I like that style, and I just settled on doing panty and stocking for the past couple of years because it's easy. Did not close that? Okay. It's easy to me. Like, it's like, for me, because it's so geometric and simplistic in some ways, I find this style easier, and then like shading and stuff is on the simpler side because honestly, the reason why I didn't do the color process last week is because coloring is actually like my least favorite part of doing an art piece. I'd much rather do line art. So, we get to suffer me doing the coloring process now. And the coloring process is simpler here. I don't have to do as much. I don't have to do really intense like shading and stuff and cool effects. I would love to be able to do that, but my brain doesn't wire that way. So I'd be like, I like the lazy and expressive style, because I also feel like one of the hard things with more complex styles is expressions. I feel like other styles that look really artistic, you can't quite tell the emotion that's coming across on the face, so I do like how expressive you can be with a more cartoony style. And I've never been, like, overly, like, I enjoy the Western style, the kind of, like, as many people will trademark it, like, the bean face and whatnot. I have an appreciation for it, but I don't enjoy drawing it. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Just there's something about, like, when you actually move the pin on the screen, it's enjoyable to do this style. Like, my hand feels happy to draw this way. And I don't get that as much with, like, the Western cartoon styles, and it's just the way I am. I'm doing good, especially after yesterday. Ooh, in which sense? Because I do believe that you went to a con, but also maybe it's the episode made you happy. I'd love to hear what sparks the happiness today. What amazing events occurred yesterday? Yeah, I'm also pretty excited about the new panty and stocking season. I guess that's other news that's coming up, is I really don't know where they're gonna go with it, because like it left off on such an interesting note, and I would not put it past them to be like, let's just not address the way it was left off. We're just gonna do something completely brand new. I also don't, like, I need to sit here and figure out what I'm gonna do with this book, but I also just want to kind of have the hair sorted in case I animate this. But I probably should not spend so much time coloring in this bit. But here I am coloring it in, because it feels good. It's easy. Doing shadows is easy. The hard part is going to be picking out textures, because I've never done manga-style textures before. I've just always experienced them in manga, so we get to have the fun little experience of what texture am I going to give this part of the drawing. All the fun things we can do artistically together. I haven't watched the new episode yet. It's not on the UK Crunchyroll, so I have to do it with a 7 Cs. I get you, I get you. I'm so curious as to why they're like so stingy about anime in the UK. I know in general, like, UK/Europe has much harsher guidelines and rules and stipulations that often lead that to not bring stuff over. But I'm curious what the specific reasoning is with like some of the Precure seasons, because I think you guys got some of the like backlist titles, but like I think you got Kira Kira. But there were other ones that you didn't get, and I don't know. The EU do be confusing me. I got Cure March. Yeah, you did! Okay, so Ben showed me a photo, and he managed to find at the convention a nice and rare, I believe it was the, I always get them backwards. It's not the Figma, it's the Figuarts of Cure March, which is mighty rare. Like, I honestly, it's impressive what kind of pre-Cure merch you can find at conventions, because you'll be like, wow, this figure is very old and, like, niche. What journey must have this figure gone on to end up in this pile of loot at this convention? The mystery is mysterious. Oh man, though, I've really, like, knocked down the amount of cons I've gone to, because now I really only go to Anime NYC, and then occasionally AWA. I'm curious what kind of stuff will be found this year, because last year I think at Anime NYC they had the not premium editions of what's it called? The non-Bandai premium editions of the Hirogaru Sky characters, but But they were in a not a vending machine, but like a gacha machine that you could play and you could try to win them. And that was interesting. I was like, what an interesting array of, because there were like other series in there. I think there was like a Gundam something or another in there too. And I was like, what an interesting array of things that are in this bin, and how must have they gotten here? Like, I think it must be easier to get stuff like the cutie figures because they're normally sold at like 7-Elevens in Japan. They're like not too hard to come by for like the non-Bandai Premium versions. But I guess, like, I don't know, you get a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart that's like, we don't need these extra ones. Ship them off to America. Throw them in a convention. Just, it's always crazy what can be found in there. Because I think, oh my god, my friend went to, I think she went to AX, and she found an excellent model of Muse, and that's how I have my excellent model of Muse. Because, like, the only excellent models I have, I think, is just Sunshine, Blossom, and Muse. But I worked extra hard to find Sunshine and Blossom because I like them. But she just randomly bought me Muse. She's like, this looks like a Precure character, and I bought it at the AX. And I was like, girl, how much did you pay for this? The drawing is pretty. Thank you, Kari! We have the Futariwas, OG Max Heart, Splash Star, Yes 5, Otana, Go Prime, Mahoutsukai, No Sequel, Kira Kira, and Wonderful on the UK Crunchyroll. That's so interesting. It's an interesting little array of them. Because I'm trying to think. I think we have more backlist titles. I also wait. Did we get Go-Go? Did we ever get Go-Go in America? I know we had Yes 5 forever, but they were like, for some reason they didn't give us Go-Go. I don't know. I report all this and then it escapes my brain. I don't know what we're like. I know we don't have Heart Catch. And then I'm almost positive we got Mirai Days, but don't quote me on that. It's been a minute. Alright, I have no idea. I should probably shade the skirt, but it's so complex. I made it too hard for myself, so I'm just gonna do like very basic shading in here. Just add a little hoop-doop. Oop. And I probably should pull up some manga panel references so I can figure out how I want to add texture. Because I do... So for people who don't know how manga is made IRL, well, there's two ways. Some people are digital artists, which I think a lot of the newer mangaka are, but the older mangaka, like Sailor Moon and them, worked on, like, ink and paper. But when you're like, what are these textures? Like this doodah here is a texture. Like, this scratchy material. That's not even a good arrow. This scratchy material is a texture, and not something like that I hand drew. And they have like sheets of clear-ish paper that they have, and then they'll take an X-Acto knife and they just cut this stuff out to the shape of whatever piece of artwork they're putting on top of it. And that's how they get these cool textures in manga. And I'm Eka. I'm basically I am not echoing is not the word I'm looking for. Replicating that? I'm replicating that here with what I'm trying to do, but I don't know how I want to do it. But I think the best one was Naofumi Iwatani, who is the main character of Rising Shield Hero. My best find. Okay, that I can read. I can read. That's a good find. I honestly, you have, I don't know what it is now. It used to be like every figure at the anime convention was like Demon Slayers and Fate characters. That was forever. I don't know what the main series now that they have. Maybe Jujutsu Kaisen's really getting in there now with figures. But there's like one series that's everything. Oh, ReZero's another one. There's always 1,000 Rim and Ran figures. Off topic, but would you consider RWBY a magical girls show? Why or why not? I do. So on Instagram, I have a channel attached to my account. I don't know if you've ever used Instagram and the complications of that, but I have something called Magical Murmurs where we report on magical girl news and stuff, and I've included RWBY stuff. I've also, like, part of the reason why I include RWBY too is just because I grew up with RWBY. I have been following RWBY since Trailer Red that was posted on Tumblr by Monty Ohm. I'm very, very dedicated to this series. But I also think it really has a lot of aspects of it that cross over with Magical Girl series. I think just, like, having these powered-up girls who fight monsters and stuff, and just, like, having it be kind of a female-focused show, it makes it a magical girl series to me. But I'm somebody who's very, very broad about my, definition of a magical girl series, because there's certain ones where I'm like, no, incorrect, that is not a magical girl show, and you were wrong. But most of the time, I'm pretty open about it. I think I got more strict about what I consider a magical girl series after there was, like, the one trauma article that somebody posted years back when Sword Art Online got its spin-off series, which, oh God, I can't remember if it's Gun Gaia Online or Gun Gale Online. The names all blur. Anyways, it was one season of Sword Art Online where it focused on a female character who was in the gun game that they had for one of the arcs. And one dude wrote about how, like, this is a revolutionary magical girl show. And I'm like, that's not a magical girl show. She's just running around playing a gun video game. There's nothing magical about it. The only thing that's magical or, like, girly about it is that the character wears a pink outfit. And that's about it. There's no magic. I'm like, I would maybe consider it a magical girl show if it was any of the other video game worlds they play where there's actual magic. Specifically, like, if they did a spin-off with the fairy one and it had a main character that was a girl and had, like, a girl group that they focused in on, maybe I would think about that being a magical girl series, but, like, just because it has a girl and zero magic and nothing magical girly about it, it's not a magical... That's, like, the one time I was like, okay, listen, we're being a little too broad about what we think is a magical girl show. But other than that, like, I'll consider stuff like, I wouldn't be bothered if somebody called, Owl House a magical girl show, because, like, at the end of the day, the girl in a magical world, learning magic, it's more of a witch series, which I think witch or a Majoko series are their own thing, too. But I won't be mad if somebody calls it a magical girl series. I'm not gonna, like, I'm like, good. Or, like, there's a lot of, like, idol magical girl series that also branch off into other things. And it is what it is. Jujutsu Kaisen, Solo Leveling, Dragon Ball, all the popular shonen. Yeah, all the popular shonen. I feel like I don't often see Dragon Ball figures, but I also think it's because the Dragon Ball IP is likely owned by Bandai, and Bandai's kind of weird about how they do figures. That's a rant coming up for the future. That's a little teaser for what is to come in a future video I'm going to do, hopefully in this coming week if it gets here. I'll talk about that in a minute. Oh, recently on Twitter, somebody had done an 11-hour video saying that he watched... Oh my god, I didn't look into what the context for that was, but, like, I saw the outrage from other people in regards to it, and it's just like, this guy, apparently at some point, which it's 11 hours, girl, I'm not gonna figure out when this dude was like... And then I said that I don't, like, I've never watched a magical girl show, and I never will. And I'm like, okay, buddy. Okay, whatever. Live your best life, buddy. Like, whatever. I mean, there's definitely shows, like, if they had, like, a show that was just, like, anime cowboys, I don't really like the cowboy aesthetic, I'll probably never watch it. Like, to each their own. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like there's always been a huge problem in the anime community where, like, dude bro fans are like, manly man shows are the only thing that should exist, and the fact that there's anything feminine in the anime space is garbage. And it's like, okay, just say you're an incel and move on. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, whatever. Like, people, if you don't like feminine stuff, just say that. You don't have to like it. But you don't have to, like, say that it needs to be cancelled for just being feminine. It's not doing anything to harm anybody. Alright, I don't really know if there's any other shading I need to do. I could probably just go back to outlining things. Yeah, if you're wondering, she's not gonna stay green. She's not a zombie. I'm just doing that so I can separate what I have yet to do. Oh, I should probably color the headband, or the wristbands, and do the hands. Da-da-da-da-da! It's a magical girl, but different. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and TBH Owl House are way better than the Lilo and Stitch live action. Girl, we could, I don't know, I might have ranted about it last week. I'm not super happy with what they've done with the Lilo and Stitch live action, but also, I grew up with that, so I have very, very specific, like, any of the older Disney stuff. I grew up with that as a kid, so, like, I have big, strong feelings about it. I also watched all of, like, the Lilo and Stitch spin-off stuff, like the animated series, like the cheaper animated series that they threw on Disney Channel back in the day. I was very attached to that. That was a good show. They used to make really good sequel series. The budget for the animation was garbage, but the soul in the writing of those sequel series was always good. I think the last one that they did that was actually really good was, like, the Tangled series sequel was actually very good. I did not love the Big Hero 6 one. That one was kind of meh, and I really liked Big Hero 6. At number 1 on his list is Attack on Titan. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay, so you're a basic Bronin. That you don't have to make that everyone's problem. Like, I would say, like, for when it comes to magical girl stuff, I don't think I'm particularly unique. I think for, like, girly media, I mean, like, my number 1 is Heartcatch, so I'm, like, not sitting here being completely unique in my own genre, but, like, I'm not sitting there making that everyone else's problem. But then again, you know, if it's 11 hours and people actually sat through it, I mean, he got his money. That's the one, again, like, I think I talked about it last week. I hate that social media has made itself so that the people who really profit are only people who make sensational material, where it's like something where it's gonna make you have a really big reaction, and usually that's a negative thing. Usually it's them saying something really bad, and then you're like, that is bad! And then they're like, thank you, I'll take my $10 million. It is the world. Though, to be fair, I think the next video I'm gonna have, I am debating how clickbaity I'm gonna make the title for it, because it's gonna be, technically speaking, clickbaity, but it will be true to me, which is I have a Sailor Moon figure coming in that's really, really big. But it's not the Wonder Statue really big figure. And that's because I passionately hate the Wonder Statue big figure. I'm coming out to speak my truth about the fact that I think the Wonder Statue Sailor Moon big figure is garbage, and I think they should have done better. And I will be speaking from my expertise in the world of 3D and as a collector, and so I will say my piece on that. But I also am going to leave timestamps in the video, so if people want to just see me review the big Sailor Moon figure I'm getting and not have the rant, they can skip. Because I know people, like, I know people don't like it when I'm negative, so I try to at least, like, I want to be able to say my piece. But at the same time, I know that somebody was like, I may want to watch your content and not hear you say your piece. So I do like to give people the ability to skip past the big feelings. And be happy and be fun. Because I'm really, really hyped about the figure that's coming in. Like, it's so pretty. It's gonna be so big. It's got light up abilities. And I don't own a lot of super duper nice Sailor Moon figures compared to, like, I own a lot of Madoka nice figures because I have all the Gadoka figures. I don't have any fancy Sailor Moon ones, and I'm actually happy that I'm finally getting a decent Sailor Moon one because, you know, if you're a magical girl fan and you're gonna sit here and call yourself a magical girl content creator, you should have the token nice magical girl Sailor Moon figure. It is a rite of passage, so I'm so glad I'm finally getting one. I have been so hyped for this figure for so long since it's been in development. And I'm glad that it's happening. I just wish the timing was not during the tariffs. Hearing that Cure kisses Milky Rose just entered to the bottom of my camera. Yeah, I think I had a couple comments be very mad that I made that comparison in my video. Which is, like, again, back on the topic of, like, people don't like to hear me be negative. That's where I had to say my piece. I knew people were gonna be mad that I said it, but, like... the few actions that she took in this episode had me very not happy with her character. But I know she's gonna get better, but at the same time, that doesn't mean I have to enjoy the time when she sucks. I was really holding out that they wouldn't write her character this way, but it seems that the temptation to write her this way was too great. And I'm like, no. I've yet to watch Sailor Moon. That's fair. The only reason, like, obviously why I've seen Sailor Moon is because I grew up on it. I watched it Saturday nights. Their Machu spoke the truth. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to pay the price for speaking the truth that needs to be heard. But yeah, I think there was definitely a lot of pushback on some of my opinions today, and that's fine. That's totally fine. I think, especially with Precure, compared to other shows, I think Precure has a lot of, I don't want to say necessarily toxic positivity, but there's a lot of, like, you you need to appreciate what it is. And I was like, no, it can be better, and if it can be better, it can be better. Or if it's something that I personally don't care for, I can say that I don't care for it. I'm like that's the one thing that I'm happy that I'm doing 2 series right now. I'm happy that I'm doing Maebashi Witches, because I feel like the conversation for my videos with Maebashi Witches is kind of a palate cleanser. Oh, thank you for the follow! I really do love the degree of a palate cleanser that that Maebashi Witches is, because the comments from Maebashi Witches, and because it's more of a complex title, I think are just so much more pleasing to me. Not that I dislike the comments and discussion that I have for Precure, it's just I really love how in-depth in theory and kind of like, I don't know, there's like a degree of negativity that exists for something like Maebashi Witches, but it comes from a much more understandable place, and I feel like, again, the conversation I've been having has been so much richer and nice. So I think I might continue. I have to debate it because it's so much work. I want to kind of have it where I have like Precure, but like when I want to have a more mature conversation, I can have another series where we can have the more complex topics and not so much have the back and forth of like, it's a kid show, you just have to like everything that happens in a kid show. And I'm like, no, kid shows can be bad and can be poorly written and can be done better. Or can just, again, not be to my taste. They cooked with Yuki and then never again. Low-key true. Low-key true, though. Waiting for Kaito to come back, I want to see him learn their identities who can help them become better artists. That, honestly, I feel like that would move his character forward, because they literally, like, I feel like the writers know that they stalemated his character by just having him show up and then give really vague piece of advice and then, like, disappear like he's Tuxedo Mask and not show up again. And then he has proceeded to not show up again. They're like, oh, he was just kind of the advice man. And then now he's gone because we can't just keep having him show up, give vague advice, and then vanish. It's gotten too repetitive. So they literally just took him out the show. I think the last time we saw him was at the handshake event where he was like, huh, the girls are like, these sure people are doing a handshake thing, cool, and then walked away. And I think that's the last time we've done anything with Kaito. And then he's just gone. I was like, is he in Kiriki Land too? Is that where he's been at? But I also know that they most likely have benched him too, because the mid-seasons are here and he would take the attention away. Alright, the question is, how do I do my eyeshadow in black and white? How do I do that? Okay, that's that. Why? Okay, I'm gonna pretend like that's fine and I'm not upset about it. Also, today I was like, oh man, I've been a little sicky, but what if I went outside and touched grass? It's raining right now, man. Like the one time in my life where I'm like, but what if we do the outdoors? It's pouring. And I'm just bummed about it. I'm just like, could you stop raining, please? Like, you clearly must have realized that I wanted to actually go outside for once and get some fresh air. It's sad as I do like him, but I feel like they aren't doing the love route with him. I don't feel like they're going too far down the love route, and I feel like any chances of the love route now are being abandoned because Uta has fallen in love with Zakyun to a degree, and she is much more, like, very big with Zakyun than she was with Kaito, which I do like the difference there, where when she was obsessed with Kaito, it made her do worse in life. Like, we saw how much she messed up at the cafe, where she was just like, I want to be like Kaito, and it made her worse. But then we have this interesting part in this episode where she starts to do way better and is super inspired by her love of Zakyun, which I think is interesting. I think it's interesting how her, like, fandomness for both characters is vastly different. Oh, the eyeshadow is too dark. We're gonna lighten that. We're gonna lighten this somehow. I'm gonna use a lighter gray. I don't think I want to tone these. I'm gonna keep it matte. Actually, I think I usually do the light blue on the outside and then the purple on the back in. Alright. I don't know what I'm saying. Alright, let me make this look not horrendous. I also don't know if I should just make that lighter. It looks weird now, but her skin will be not green at some point. It's sad as I do like them, but I feel like they aren't doing the yeah. As I pointed out in the comments, the only mid-season that wasn't and hasn't been overpowered is Scarlet. Yeah, I think... I'm trying to think, because there's been a couple where I don't think they were as egregious as before, but, like, I think some of the worst contenders for being way too overpowered have been people like Lemaire and Moonlight really came in, where it's also unfair to the Cures, because, like, at least in Heartcatch when Moonlight showed up, the villains were like, we're gonna take every general when they've only fought monsters this entire time, and we're gonna have them fight all of the generals at once. And then I was like, okay, I get how that overpowers the main team, but I think it's a little wild that Moonlight just absolutely annihilated every single general and Dark Precure in one go. I was like, sweetie, I love you, but that was a little much. You're a little too powerful. And then Lemaire had no business being as strong as she was. Cure Earth is a big example. Yeah, Cure Earth, like, the only thing that makes me not as mad about Cure Earth is that it's like, go girl, give us nothing. It's like, yes, queen. You have no emotion behind your power. Like, I think ones that make me annoyed, who are, like, somewhat overpowered when they roll in, again, would just be, like, Milky Rose and Ace, where they have attitude on top of being more powerful, and I was like, you don't have to be like that. Like, it's annoying enough that you're way stronger than everybody else, but it's annoying that you're, like, not humble about it. You're like, yeah, I am better, and you guys suck, and I was like, okay. Okay, we could be nice. We could be friendly, but here we are not. Okay, let's see if I like this texture. See if I like this texture for this. I think the problem is these textures are not going to be small enough. I feel like I want them to be tinier, and they feel kind of large. Alright. Playing around with the textures. This one's not bad. I might settle for this. And then do like an ombre. I feel like Cure Felice has an excuse to be overpowered. Yeah, I think some characters who are straight up gods, there's valid reasons why they're pretty dang strong. And even some of the gods they kind of bench. Like, technically speaking, Shiny Luminous should be very, very strong. Because girl do be a god. But she's just kind of like, alright. She is good enough. Oh, I think I messed up on this one. I don't even know how I'm going to solve this problem. I think... Let me just fill it in with black. Okay, don't listen to me. The alpha is on. Doo-doo-doo. This needs to be filled in here. I think I realized that later down the line. That just needs to be black. It's the bow. And I have no sense of... This is why I'm color coding things, so I don't get confused at what I've done. I have some sense of reason. Okay, that's the eyes. Might group the eyes together so I stop forgetting what they are. Okay. Do the socks. I like that how Shiny Luminous is more of the support and pacifist. I feel like there was a period of time where I didn't like that the mid-seasons were at all had any different powers. I wish they kind of acclimated to the group better, but I think I've had an appreciation for them not fully acclimating to the group and just being supports. I feel like rather than be a support character that doesn't acclimate with the group, rather than just be really strong and independent from the group. Like, again, I'm not a huge fan of the way they implemented Milky Rose, where she's, like, very, very strong, but she also has her own individual attack, and you need all 5 of the other members to accomplish anything, but you can just have Milky Rose do it by herself, and I'm like, okay. Alright, I see how it is. Okay, the socks are going to be a lighter color. And then what texture am I going to do for the sock? Let's go to my texture library and see what we can choose! Okay, I think I hated this cloudy pattern here. No, I'm gonna hate stripes. I don't know why I'm even daring to select that. Let's try this. No, the peppercorn's not doing it. Oh, what a time it is trying to select textures and making myself happy. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. I feel like whatever I do for this strap, I should have done the same thing as the wings and the shirt wings. The wings and the shirt wings. This I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do, because I may just do what I normally do, but in black and white. I think I showed you that I met Veronica Taylor yesterday, too. Yeah, you did! You did! Oh my god. That's the one thing that I never do at conventions that I could, but I just don't... I'm not good with my time management. I really wish I met more of, like, the celebrity guests who show up. I had a roommate who, we meet up at conventions, like an old roommate. And, it was funny because... I don't remember the name of the author. There was the author who did the Ugly series. And she was like, oh no, I left the book that I wanted him to sign at home. Can you go to Barnes & Noble and grab a book and I'll pay you back? And it was funny running around, but I think the bitterest irony of it was that the place that I was staying with another friend, she had a signed copy of Uglies with one of the original covers that she got, like, back when the book first came out. And I was like, oh, the irony. Because she was like, oh, I have to use one of the new covers, and I really wanted him to sign, like, the old school cover. And I'm like, girl, you don't want to hear what I literally just, like, left behind at the place that I'm staying at. You will be remiss to learn that the thing you want, I actually have vague possession of. But yeah, there was a big old line for him. I also didn't realize that the author of the Ugly series was a dude. The things you learn at conventions. I feel like I should probably pay more attention to, like, creators and stuff like that. I feel like doing Precure and stuff, I've been bullied into paying more attention to Japanese creators and, like, the different directors and artists and everything. But I will say most of the time I'm in the dark. Like, I gotta give it to my friends who can sit there and be like, oh, obviously this was storyboarded by so-and-so, and I was like, girl, how you know? Girl, how you know? She's the 4th famous person I've met. Back in March, April, I met 3 RuPaul Drag Race queens. Woo, let's go! Dude, I have another friend who pops into chat every so often, and she is very big into, like, the Drag Race people. I don't know if they're all RuPaul Drag Race, but she goes on, like, the regular to shows that come around to her town. I'm like, if I had friends who were into that kind of stuff near me, I would not be remiss to go to one of the live shows. Alright, I feel like maybe I want that darker. I don't even know why I've zoomed out. Like, what's the point of having a reference if I don't use it? Maybe that's the thing. Alright. I promise I'm not normally this bad with my layers, but you know, we're living on the edge and we're just having zero organization. Because this is a Sunday. It's a Sunday work day. And we live chaos. We live for the insanity. Oh my god, that reminds me. I don't know if you guys care about things like video games, but I tuned into the Summer Games Fest this week, and I think my favorite thing lately has been the marketing team for Sonic, because dang, does everything that the marketing team for Sonic do, they know the memes. Like, even when they explained doing Sonic 3, they talk about how they're like, and we made a reference to this fandom meme in a very, like, slight way, and we had a slight nod, and we, like, really researched the lore of what the fandom culture is for Sonic, and I wish more people did that, because I feel like every other second that there's some kind of famous video game or nerdy property that's getting adapted into something live action and stuff, They put zero effort into it. They're like, I didn't want to look at any of the material because I wanted to write something completely original. And I'm like, okay, just say you're not fun. Just say you're not fun. But even this, I'm so glad that the Sonic gaming team also understood the memes, because they put that one character whose name I should know right before Miku came in, and it's a reference to the Snap Q Sonic Racing dub that they did, and it was so funny. And I'm like, see, you guys get it. You guys, you guys got spunk, and I like spunk, and I appreciate that you're spunky. And you're hip. You guys are fellow kids. You guys get it. Where I feel like other marketing teams, maybe other marketing teams are just overconfident in the way they think they get stuff, and then they just genuinely do not. I do not like the opening song for the new Sonic Racing game. I don't think I even remember it. That's the one thing I probably should be better at, is that, I barely remember music. Sonic, I know, has good music sometimes. Like, I know the Shadow song from the Shadow game is really good, and I like that one. But, God, I really missed the boat on some of the music memes, because, like, Live and Learn, I vaguely recognized it, but at the same time, I did not have the same thrill that everybody else did when Live and Learn played during the movie. And I was like, no, I'm a fake fan. I'm a fake fan because I don't remember the music. Oh, but maybe I should go back and see what the racing music was. To be fair, though, when I was watching the Summer Games Fest, I was watching a streamer watch it, and he was giving, obviously, his own commentary, so I wasn't paying too close attention to the music. Also, the new... I've liked the direction that the Resident Evil franchise has gone in lately, so the new game for that looks pretty neat. I'm pretty excited. Like, I know that Resident Evil has been more historically an action-y game, and you, like, genuinely played military people. I like that it's kind of turned into, like, Silent Hill, as somebody who likes Silent Hill more. Which I'm also super excited about the new Silent Hill game. I like my horror, and both of them look really fun and promising, and they look like they're going to have good lore. Which is really what I care about, it's just the lore. I like the lore! The lore is what matters to me in the end. Oh my god, the fact that I'm gonna do these all in separate layers, and I know that there could have been a way to do it easier, but I'm not choosing to do that. So I think this is really interesting, because somebody, I don't remember on which platform it was, somebody recently asked the question for, like, there's always people who are gonna watch any of these gaming announcement things and be like, this was bad, the games they announced were terrible. And I'm somebody who, like, I would say that most every game that they showcased here, I probably won't buy. I probably will watch other people play it and, like, enjoy it as a viewer. But I probably won't play a good chunk of them myself. But I would say that a lot of the trailers that they showcased, I thought were all really interesting games. And I'm not somebody who, like, has much to complain about in that department. But I was interesting to, like, actually see people put comments of what did they want if this was not what they wanted to see. Because I think that even if it's not for me, and a lot of these games weren't for me, like, people who are really into Yakuza were really happy to see the next, I don't know, is it a Like a Dragon one? I never remember the spin-off titles for that franchise, but I'm like, I like to see people like the Yakuza franchise, as somebody who has not personally played it. Like, there's something about how happy it makes people that I can just sit here and be like, your happiness gives me happiness, you know? I didn't watch, as I don't like Jeff. I know nothing. They always be like, Jeff Keighley. I don't know any of the lore on this man. I just know that he be talking about games once a year. I don't know what's his backstory. I don't remember what his relationship is to games. Should I? I should. But do I? No. And there are hardly any games they're interested in. I think from, like, a creator standpoint, I used to do stuff with games. I like to see what the games industry is up to and what they're doing, and I like to see that the games don't all look like clones. Like, there was that... God, nothing was worse than the Battle Royale era, and everybody just made PUBG. a bunch of times over, and they didn't even make it visually look that different from each other. All of the PUBG games, like all the PUBG clones looked the same, and then they all turned into Fortnite clones. And I was like, that's so unfun. But nowadays I feel like, for example, a lot of the games this time, I think, well, not a lot, I think there was 2 that had rubber hose style, and I'm like, I like that they went in a very unique artistic direction, and I feel like the game shows have been far more pleasurable to watch just because there's a lot more variety. And it's not just like, oh, there was also the open world phase where it's like, here's this game, and guess what? It's open world. Let's look at this field, and then some mountains in the background. Alright. Alright, tablet. Why aren't you behaving? Thank you. But yeah, I think game shows have been, or game announcements have been so much better than they used to be. They were so repetitive before. And so I'm happy to see the variety. You know me, I love some variety. But yeah, I think the game announcements that I prefer, just because it's more of my niche, is I like watching like wholesome games, because I think wholesome games will present a lot of niche games that you don't see otherwise, and they're all like fun, cutesy, like farming sims or puzzle games, and I like those because they always look the most appealing to me. So, well, the one thing I want to watch that I need to put on my calendar is the horror games. Whatever is in charge of showcasing all the upcoming horror games, because I do love horror a lot. I very randomly love horror games to bits. They're so fun. They're so fun. Oh my god! Leo! Thank you for becoming a member. You get a little donut with wings next to your name now. And you get to use my heart emote. Oh, that's another thing I didn't do this week, is I told myself I was gonna do more emotes. This is what happens when I get to be a parent for a week. I don't do anything else. I fail to do my responsibilities with all of my projects that I want to do. But, oh, if I do get that Sailor Moon figure, though, I'm going to unbox that, and I'm going to have a probably, like, ranty video about, like, the history of Sailor Moon figures. And then, unbox that one. Which flavor of tea am I now? You are now royalty. Welcome in. I'm a Nintendo gamer, so I only follow the Nintendo Directs. That's so fair. I also think the Nintendo Directs have been way better. I think ever since they really embraced the indie games that they've brought onto the console, they've been way more enjoyable. Because, like, I think having the breath of fresh air of having a lead title and then going on and saying, like, here's a bunch of indie creators who are quirky and, like, really mesh well with the Nintendo brand. Because I honestly think a lot of the quirky games work with Nintendo, which has historically been more of a family-friendly brand compared to, like, Sony and Microsoft, who are like, dude, bro, boy, bros, bro games. And you're like, okay, let's announce Call of Duty number 87. I'm like, I want to see some of the cutesy little, wacky little games. Like, stuff like Octodad, where it's just weird. Where it's just weird, but it's cute and silly and fun. I hope you're having a nice stream. Good to see you, Lumi. I hope you've been doing well. I hope life has been good. Also, for both Leo and Chat, aka Magical Cinnamon, and Lumi or Lumen Kali, both are streamers slash content creators. Lumi is an artist. Magical Cinnamon is a magical girl and precure content creator. I highly recommend following. Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Am I back? Am I back now? OBS was like, we disconnected. And I was like, don't do that. Please don't disconnect. Please don't disconnect. And it's like, got you, girl. We reconnected. And I'm like, cool. So I don't know if stream's back. And I don't know if that made... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. OBS. Queen. YouTube's dead, which is fine. Oh, which is fine. YouTube, are you okay? Girl, are you... YouTube? Okay. YouTube just is telling me it's not working. But it also, the stream looks like it's working. Cool. I don't... The stream's so whiny. I don't know. This is a sign that it's gonna be a short... Girl, am I gone or am I back? Girl, am I here or not? Don't make a second stream. God, I really hope this didn't make a second stream. Alright. Not me desperately typing in chat reloaded. Tell me if I'm alive. Oh my god, I've never had it. Oh, it's Twitch. Okay. That might be the end of stream. Well, you know, I got an hour in. I got an hour in before it died. Holy. Oh, now YouTube says it's fun. I hate it here. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll call it for this week. We'll do games and maybe a tier list next week. We'll see.